This is a review of the Ohto Tasche compact fountain pen. I saw these a while ago and I thought, hey, that looks very, very cool, and I wanted to try one. So finally got one, and I've got to be honest, my first thoughts when it came out the envelope was, wow, that's small. It only came in this cellophane wrapper. I can only guess that's because the supplier gets them in cartons, you know, the cartons that you see in shops where they're kind of all stuck into little holes. But it doesn't matter to me because I don't ever keep the boxes anyway. I'm more interested in how the pen performs. So let's open this up. Wow, that is a very sticky label. Okay, and take a look at the pen. Okay, now for some reason it just looks even smaller now that it's outside the packet. But the cool thing about this pen is, once it's open and you put the cap on the other end, it pretty much becomes a full-size pen. And I've got to be honest, it doesn't have ink in it yet, but it feels very nice to hold. The grip section is milled, well, steel, I think. I'm not quite sure of the material, but I think it's steel. So it's quite nice to hold. It's got enough friction for it to be comfortable, but I haven't done any serious work with it yet, so I don't know. So let's hope it comes with a cartridge. Speaking of cartridges, you'll see this section here, the barrel is very, very short. I very much doubt you're going to get a converter in there. Ah, there we go. There is a cartridge in it. Looks like a standard international cartridge, so let's plug that in and see what happens. Make sure it's in. I've got to admit, I kind of like the really tiny size. That's quite a lot of turns on there to make sure it's screwed home. Okay, put that on. I'm going to be removing that barcode at some point because that's just annoying. I think it just spoils the look of the pen. But the pen looks very nice. It's also available in other colours, pink, white. There's even a steel one as well, but I quite fancy the blue. So let's see if we can get this pen started. Give it a shake, give it a shake, and nothing. Oh, there we go. A few taps seem to have brought it in. And, it's a black cartridge, which I certainly like. Don't really care for drawing in blue too much, so black is good. So let's just give this a go. So, that's not good. Okay, I've only just started the pen, so I will forgive that, but not a good start. So, yeah, you can see there's some skipping there. So I'll just break the pen in a little bit, just with some quick catching. Okay, seems to be flowing better now. Okay, so let's give that a go. So again, the return stroke on that circle just doesn't seem to... Okay, if I go slower, it's not so bad. Now I can tell you right now, if this pen keeps performing like this, it's going to be no use to me for drawing whatsoever, because it's going to keep skipping strokes just when you need them. Okay, so is it behaving itself now? Okay, maybe it was just breaking it in. Still seeing some skipping. Okay, let's try drawing something then. Just get rid of that. Okay, so let's go all... Okay, so far so good. Okay, so yeah, no skipping so far. You can see on the longer strokes, again, the feed is starting to give out on me again. That's not particularly reassuring. But we'll just keep working with it and see what happens. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . I've got to be honest, this is a very smooth card, and the nib feels some degree of resistance to the ink coming out. It's not nice to particularly work with. I think this is not going to be one of my go-to pens for drawing with. My favourite right now is still probably the Lamy Nex, because that is so smooth, particularly with the A nib that comes with it. But as I say, I've only just started working with this pen, so I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt and just I mean, there's enough ink flow for it to be useful. I'm not writing this pen off. I'm just surprised, because I've tried a lot of pens, particularly the Chinese-made pens recently, and been very impressed. And I actually thought a Japanese pen would be more impressive. I mean, the price point is fairly low, but still, it's not as impressive as I expected it to be. I expected it to be a very smooth experience, and it's not that great. If I'm frank. Of course, I'm not Frank, I'm Phil, but still. Okay, so it's quite nice to do with, I suppose. I must admit, I love doodling rocks. Now I'm going to shut up for a bit so I can speed up this video later, and I'll give some comments at the end. Okay, so I've just skipped ahead to the finished drawing, and I've got to be honest, this was quite a frustrating process to draw this. Just a rough sketch, took about 10-15 minutes, but I'm just going to zoom in there, and you can see that I repeatedly had problems with the strokes on the pen. These strokes here, I actually thought to myself, well, maybe it's because I'm not putting enough pressure on the nib. It's a new pen, maybe I need to put more pressure to get it flowing. And it seemed that every fourth stroke or so, it was just not feeding the ink through. Which meant that a lot of the times when I was hatching, the strokes just weren't coming through, or the amount of ink that was coming through was just, oh, to be honest, frustratingly low. So, can I recommend this pen for drawing and sketching? No, honestly, I can't. It looks great, and it's very, very small. I mean, once it's closed, as you can see, that will fit into most pockets. And it is tiny, it's just about the size of my finger. But drawing with it was so frustrating, because half the time when I was hatching, it would just drop out halfway through the stroke. There was just no ink coming through, and I just got to the point where I just wasn't enjoying it anymore. And I think that's an important part of the process, is actually enjoying each of the strokes you make. So yeah. Can I recommend this pen? No, not at all. I would give it 5 out of 10, and that's only because it looks cool, it feels good, when you're drawing with it, it's really comfortable to hold. It's got just enough weight to be comfortable, and the length is just right. In fact, it reminds me quite a lot of my old Parker Vector when it's posted. But the actual process of drawing with it, and that's the important part for me, no, not at all enjoyable. Huge disappointment. In fact, you know what? I'm going to drop it to a 4 out of 10. I cannot recommend this pen for sketching or doodling or even any kind of drawing. I'm not even sure how reliable it would be if you were writing with it. I'm going to try it with a different cartridge that didn't come with a pen and see if that improves the situation. And if it does, I will update this video. But until then, disappointing pen that looks good. 4 out of 10.